Now this, the EPA chief pushing a very aggressive agenda, and Democrats are offering no help. And, well, these negative headlines also about President Trump actually probably not making the job any easier. So come on in, Scott Pruitt, EPA Administrator, in the studio. Great to have you.
Great to be with you. I want to find out, Liz, if I can talk to those referees during this football game.
And say, knock it off.
I want to be able to send a message to those guys saying you missed that call.
Oh, yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings, right?
Yeah.
Administrator Pruitt, you have a very aggressive EPA agenda that's almost the exact opposite of President Obama's. And you've recently been on record.
That means it's great, by the way. Go ahead.
You've been on record, by the way, saying just recently that President Obama was no environmental savior. Because the feeling is, the conventional wisdom is that President Obama loved the environment, he did everything he could to save it, and now you're going to wreck it.
Well, look at the core mission of the agency. You know, when you looked at Superfund sites, which are sites across the country that have land waste, uranium and lead, 1,322 sites across the country, that's more than when President Obama came into office. So it increased under his watch. Those areas of the country that we don't meet air quality standards, 40% of the country, about 120 million people live in those areas. We had Flint, Michigan, and Gold King, Colorado, with respect to water quality. The areas that he focused on as far as CO2, he struck out twice before the U.S. Supreme Court. They struck him down as far as the actions he took. So when you look at the record, the objective record, what did you achieve in land remediation as far as waste in these Superfund sites? What did you do for water? What did you do to improve air quality? Very, very, I think, subpar. And I think the environmental left looks at the past administration, to your point, to say, well, he was the environmental savior. When you look at the record, that's not the case. So what we're doing, Charles, is getting back to the core mission of the agency, saying that it's unacceptable to have a site in Westlake, outside of St. Louis. It's taken the EPA 27 years to make a decision, not clean it up, but 27 years on whether to remove the uranium or cap the uranium. That's unacceptable for the citizens in St. Louis, Missouri. And I'd like to tell you that that's an isolated example, but it's across the country. So the EPA has failed to do its job, and we're trying to get back to the basics of doing our job. This president, President Trump, is a doer. He's about action. He's not about talk.
Well, let's talk about
Michigan is an issue too. Flint, Michigan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and let me also ask you then about the big question, the Paris Agreement, because it felt like you were adamantly against it. Perhaps Ivanka Trump likes it or would like to see us stay in it, and then there are a lot of Republicans caught in the middle, some saying, hey, stay in it, but voice different concerns. I know an official decision won't be made until after the G7 meeting, but have you changed your mind at all about our participation in the Paris
No, and look, each of the folks around the president, our job is to help him make a decision, an informed decision, a thoughtful decision with respect to that framework. And frankly, my perspective has been consistently that it's a bad business deal for this country. You know, we're at pre-1994 levels right now in this country with our CO2 footprint.
And that's part of the natural gas phenomenon, which I call a godsend. But
absolutely. But Charles, that's been through innovation and technology, not through government mandate. So why do we go to Paris as a country and lie prostrate before the rest of the world and say, let's be apologetic?
But do you agree that America should play some role in reducing pollution around the world?
We are the United States. We are leading on these issues through action, not words. Paris represents an agreement that puts America last, not first. We need to export. Let's have a Paris to Pittsburgh kind of discussion. Let's bring the world to this country and say, look at what we're doing to reduce our CO2 footprint. That's what you need to be doing in China and India. But that's not what Paris represented, Charles. Paris represented a situation where China and India went in and didn't take any steps to address CO2 reductions while we front-loaded our costs, contracting our economy, $2.5 trillion in gross domestic product over a 10-year period.
Minister Pruitt,
good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Likewise.
Great seeing you.
Thank you.